Welcome to Inspired by Love. I'm Rachelle Love, and I am delighted to have my girlfriend here, Latanya Washington. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited. I'm excited about this conversation, and I am excited about what God is even doing in your life, lady.
Amen and amen. Well, Latanya, I would like you to just share a little bit, give a little tidbit to our listeners and those that are going to chime in later. Tell a little bit about your background and how you assist small businesses and entrepreneurs.
Well, let me say, um, it was way back in 2013 when I started what many people know as the International List Tour. At that time, it was just called the National List Tour because we went from city to
Okay.
city, connecting with business owners and entrepreneurs. And I started it back then because I began to see so many people like us as an entrepreneur not able to connect with mentors or people that were experts to help me along my journey to up level, whether it was in finance, whether it was building my business, whether it was understanding taxes, whatever it was, we really could not find them. And so I
Mhm.
began to put that together because I wanted to bring in those experts to be able to share and yet coach and mentor all of the attendees that were a part of the list tour. Now it's international. Now it's virtual.
Oh, wow.
We've gone to Africa. We went to Africa 2 years ago, which was an experience, and now we're virtual. So we look at them as virtual master classes. That's what this pandemic has done. It's caused us to shift. And only that, I run a couple of businesses.
Mhm.
I'm also a professor at Mount San Jacinto College, and I'm excited about evolving.
Oh, see, come on, come on. So, our topic for today is back to basics, bridging the gap into 2021. So, we are actually on the last show of the season. And I thought it would be really special for those individuals that maybe find themselves stuck. They're
Mhm.
not able to work. They're not able to make income. Just don't know what to do. So let's talk about going back to basics,
Yeah.
getting a firm foundation, establishing your business, establishing your business name, your domain, your entity. Let's talk about those things because if we can help at least one person, we've done our job.
Right. Going back to basics, and I always say this, I always say you want to build your foundation because without the foundation, your house is not going to stand, and you want
Mhm.
that firm foundation. So first things first, as you said, you have to establish your DBA, whether it's going from there and whether you want to then establish sole proprietorship of your business or you want it to become an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, whatever it is. But you really, really, before you even step out, is sit back and say, what is it that I'm trying to do? Because once you put yourself out there, there's a lot of work that you now have to begin to do in order to establish your company, to establish your business, even nonprofits. And so there's paperwork that has to be done. I never want to scare people because at the end of the day, I tell people it's not that serious. You always want to
Right.
have somebody that knows what they're doing and then just get the job done. Save up your money so you can connect with the people that know exactly how to help you put that business together. And so you're starting out on the right foot.
Well,
Yeah.
that is excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent advice. At the start of the pandemic this year, I was working as a project manager.
Mhm.
Now, I had my own business, but
Yeah.
due to the pandemic, I was unable to do event planning. No one is going out, no one is having parties, no one is doing that. So it caused me to rethink. I had to
Mhm.
sit still,
Yeah.
I had to listen, and I had to get the download from the Lord. And what he showed me, he said, I need you to tell your story. I'm like, okay, Lord, how am I going to do that? And he just, I mean, methodically just told me step by step and gave me the name. And I'm like, okay. So Inspired by Love was, manifested. And now we're here 9 months. We've been doing it. And I'm just happy and I'm grateful. I'm just grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful that we are alive in 2020. I'm grateful that we know how to speak the word over our lives and over, family and friends, because this is where the rubber meets the road. None of us were prepared for this. But what I really think about is a conversation I had with my husband, who is now gone. He's passed on. But I remember him telling me that in Atlanta, they were ordering body bags. And then I just heard the governor of California mention it. So I'm like, what's really going on? So somebody had a clue that this was coming down the pike.
Yeah.
And they did not let us in on it. But now that we're in it, we need to let people know. We're sounding the alarm and letting them know you do not have to be alone. There's plenty of help. Yeah. We're going to help direct you to the right place. So let's start with the basics. Let's start with the foundation. As you mentioned, there's paperwork that needs to be done. I myself have just recently formed a corporation, so there was a lot of paperwork and I had to get assistance. But you can do it on your own. It can be done, but you want to take the proper ways to do it. And don't miss a step, because you want to eventually build business credit. And business credit is a little different than personal credit, but we're going to get into that in a little bit. So can you give us a little sauce on starting and forming that business?
Okay, most definitely. I truly believe that when you start off, as we said before, being still enough to understand which direction to go, because as we download, and as you said, we see so many people jumping out and doing so many things, and then what begins to happen is our eye gate begins to look at what we see on our social media platforms, and we begin to say, okay, well, maybe I can jump into that, maybe I can do that, and we begin to broaden things. But you have to say, I'm okay with niching down. This is where we are now. In 2021, we have to begin to niche down. Some people have niched down, but now it's time to niche down even further, because your audience is out there. Everybody's online now. And so you really, really have to allow the people that really, really have exactly what you want, exactly have to obtain exactly what you offer, to find you. Just like you were saying, how now God began to told you to tell your story. Well, a lot of people don't understand. And this is one thing that I do. I always, even in the business as a customer journey strategist, I tell people you really want to get to know your customer, who that person is, so you can begin to broaden your skills, so you can accommodate their needs. And even with you, now it's time to tell your story. A lot of people don't understand. It's time for a lot of people to tell their stories in order to get out their journey, make people feel more comfortable, allow people to trust you even more, and to say it's okay for me to become more interested in what it is that they offer. But we have to begin to open up ourselves, and you have to know exactly the path that you're supposed to go, and then begin to take those little steps until you get there. But allow yourself permission to fall sometimes, to not understand what it is you're supposed to do, and allow yourself to obtain information and allow people to come into your life to help you. God will bring those people in.
Yes, he will.
Those are some of the steps in which you can take. Find out, build that foundation, and then begin to move. And one thing for sure, don't start marketing yourself yet.
Yes.
Build.
Woo, that's a key thing.
Yeah.
That
We
is
want
a
brand
key
and market,
thing.
but you're not ready. Yeah.
Exactly. One of the things, one of my other skill sets.
Yeah.
So I was already marketing and doing business as a
Mhm.
business strategist, where
Mhm.
I was working with women owned businesses. So that gave me, I was able to leverage the current business and pivot. So now I'm not doing that. I was able just to go ahead and pivot. So what the Lord really showed me was everything that I have need of is
Yeah.
already within me.
That's
It's in
right.
me. So I
Exactly.
just had to sit and think about now where my skill sets are.
Yeah.
I have a master's degree.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I have two, as an MBA
Yeah.
and one in teaching. So
Mhm.
I was really trying to see, Lord, what's my strong suit
Mhm.
and where my passions lie? Because where your passions lie, it bursts your purpose.
It
And
birthed.
so I just want to give anyone that's out there saying, well, I don't know what to do. I need to bring in money. I need to figure out how am I. So let's look at your skill set.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you enjoy doing? What do
Yeah.
you love doing? And
Yeah.
God will begin to develop out of that. You know, when God created heaven and earth, he created the Garden of Eden and he set man in that garden. And in doing so, he created a river.
Yeah.
And out of that one river, four rivers were formed. So I look at that as symbolic and significant. God entails for us to have at least four streams of income, not one, not two, not three, but four. So, with that in mind, can you share, Latanya, some light on those four streams of income and what they may look like? What does that entail?
Well, what I'll do is even sharing a little bit about me and my streams. Initially, my degree was in nursing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a passion for it from a young child, as a toddler, wanted to do it. And so as I went through school, and then I worked at the hospital. There was a time that I began to I had a splitting headache every time I would step on the hospital floor. At
Wow.
that very moment, I said, something is up. And that was a time in my life that I was supposed to begin my shift towards the business realm.
Oh.
But the key thing is, and I want to share this with your audience, that
Mm-hmm.
was the passion. But see, I had to have it in order to be where I am now, because in
Right.
order to be a nurse, you have to have a compassion for people.
Oh, say that
You
again
know
for
what
the
I'm saying?
people in the back.
You have to have, for the people in the back, you have to have a compassion for people.
Yes.
You have to want to understand. You have different cultures we're dealing with. We are
Mm-hmm.
now global. Because
Yes.
of this pandemic, we are global. You can be on Africa on a Zoom call now and connect with
Yes.
folks. And so in that, having that passion and walking in that, it then shifted me into the business realm. Well, now
Mm-hmm.
one of my companies is called the Customer Culture, and it's helping people understand your
Yes.
consumer, the different cultures.
Yes.
And so that's a stream. And so that's the big tier company. And I always
Mm-hmm.
tell people, you should have three tiers. Even
Mm-hmm.
when you are doing business, you may have a big tier where you're going after big clientels, Fortune
Mm-hmm.
500 companies, universities, colleges. That's what my customer culture is all about. And then
Mm-hmm.
I have another tier, which is, of course, the list tour, which is focused in on business owners, and
Mm-hmm.
of course, entrepreneurs. And then I have my own, which is the customer journey strategist. But breaking down tiers is a whole nother ball game. But those are
Exactly.
different streams of income that we have to begin to look at. And I don't believe, Rachelle, a lot of people look at that arena. Those are just three tiers. And another thing is, you know me, look at those stocks. What's going on in the stock market?
Exactly.
Evaluate, save your money, and begin to start looking into stock. Because right now, the climate we're in, a lot of them have, split. And that's another stream of income. That's another stream. And there are things that you have to begin to look at and evaluate, because there's not just one way. But God has a way of
He
taking
has a way.
what you are doing and splitting you and say, oh, well, my God, and it all ties in together. You just need to know how to split them. Yeah.
Wow, that's rich. That's the sauce. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? Because people usually only put their eggs in one basket. They only know how to do one thing, and that's work a job. But God is saying, I gave man dominion, I
Wow.
gave him power, and I gave him authority. I told him to manage the garden, to tend the garden, to watch over the garden, to be a guardian over the
Mhm,
garden, but
mhm,
he failed on that job. He failed. So God
mhm.
had to send his son Jesus to save the day. He was the savior of all the world. So I lead in with that because I had a serious health complication 4 years ago where I suffered a sudden cardiac arrest and I
Mm,
died on my living room floor.
mm.
And, when I look back, it was God, his hand, who stepped in and said, no, not today. Today is not your day. You still have living to do. And so I take every day with a gratitude, with a thankfulness that, Lord, that could have been my end 4 years ago, but you stepped in and said, no, you have purpose. You have to reach more people. So that's part of why I do what I do with the podcast. But he's even shown me different avenues that I can go in. I've now been able to diversify my income and I trade. I'm a day trader with doing Forex, doing HFX, which is high frequency Forex.
Mhm,
And I'm actually earning profit. So,
mhm.
I definitely want to just have you drop your Instagram and any social media that people can reach out to you, Latanya, and I will do the same.
Sure, sure. I always tell people nowadays, you just Google folk. I mean, how we say Google it, but
Yes,
I'm on Instagram. People can find me at Latanya Washington. I'm there. I always drop nuggets because, as you were saying before, we have to share our story, because we are all emotional creatures, and people will connect when they feel comfortable enough with you in order to continue to follow you. That's a nugget for somebody
exactly.
out there trying to figure out the platform.
Absolutely.
I'm on Twitter. The platform setter. I'm on LinkedIn, and that's another area in which a lot of people should be looking at.
Mhm.
LinkedIn is B2B. That means business to business. You're connecting with other businesses, business owners. It's almost like you're putting your resume out there, and they find you.
Facts.
You can leave comments on they'll find you. They have
Yes.
editors over there, even on LinkedIn, that'll ask you to write an article or to comment on a certain subject. And so LinkedIn, Latanya Washington, pretty much all of the platforms that are there, you can find me under my name. And
Mhm.
even the customer culture is over on Instagram. And so I kept it pretty simple. And that's
Yes.
one thing, you want people to be able to find you. Yeah.
Well, then too, that is also consistency. When your name, your handle, it matches on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. They shouldn't have. You shouldn't have all these different handles because
Yeah.
then it's confusion in the marketplace. And God is not the author of confusion. So we bind that in the name of Jesus. But just to carry on with our theme, there's a lot of things that people are just questioning with the government. There's a vaccine that just rushed to bring out. And I'm not saying anything negative about it, but I just want to say do your research. because we've had other vaccines that they started testing on Black men using the Tuskegee men with syphilis. So I just want to make sure that people are aware and they do their own research before taking the vaccine. They're saying the vaccine saves lives, but we have yet to see it. People have just received the vaccine, so we can't say it's doing anything because they just got it. Yeah. People are dying every day. This thing is something that we've never seen. But, when I read the end of the Bible in Revelations, these things have to come to pass. So we should, those that believe in God and believe in Jesus, believe in what the Lord is saying, these things have to come to pass. So we can't be afraid. We can't be shaken. We can't be worried. We just have to trust in the living God, that what he says he will do. He said he will not leave us or forsake us. He loves us with an everlasting love. We are the apple of his eye. His plan for us is good and not evil, not to bring us any harm. His plan for us is good. So he takes delight in the prosperity of his servants. He wants us to prosper. He wants us to have increase. He wants us to have more than enough, because his name, El Shaddai, Eldonai, is more than enough. So it's not just me having enough for me, my four, and no more. I should be able to have an influx of overflow, not just in income, but in my compassion, in my love, in my words, in my deeds. It should overflow in every area. So I just want to make sure that people are really understanding where this season that we're in. This is the season of giving. This is the celebration of Christmas. We recognize when Jesus was born and he gave his life. And I think that's the most significant thing. As a business owner, we can see that we're sharing our gifts. Right. We're sharing our services. We have a solution to whatever problem you have. So make sure you reach out. I'm Rachelle Love Jones on Facebook. I'm Rachelle Love on Instagram. Rachelle Love on YouTube. Rachelle Love on LinkedIn, and Rachelle Love on Twitter. So you can find me. You can reach out. We can talk, because as a matter of fact, you had mentioned having a resource. And I believe I have a resource that will be revitalized called the Win Hers Circle. And it is an establishment and a collective for women that are in business, women that have expertise in tax preparation, expertise in legal services, expertise in credit restoration. Come on, we need those type of services. So we're in a collective where we can come and exchange ideals, exchange, business methodologies, exchange, just basically how to get to the bag. That's what we want to know. How to get to the bag. So I just want to say, LaTanya, please share your expertise on just growing a business. If you have a business and now you want to grow that business, what does that look like? What kind of time frame should they allow themselves to grow that business?
You know what? I always tell people, it takes you really have to, once again, you have to give yourself permission to grow. And not just say, I need this now. This is not growing a business is not microwave. It's not about the microwave right about now. And so how I was able to literally grow my business, as I said, I first started out with the foundation. And then I had to say, okay, now I need to know who is my audience that would want to know more about what it is that I offer.
Yes.
Okay. And then I had to start, you have to start honestly, you have to begin to study your people. You have to really build yourself up to make sure that you are the expert and that you really know what you're talking about.
Hello.
Otherwise, okay, don't that's another discussion. You really have to know what you're talking about, and you can't be all over the place because you will confuse people. All right. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to shift, but a lot of times you're still in that same vein. But
Exactly.
you have to remember, you have to understand that people are watching. And so, that's why get still and say, what is it? And even though it doesn't look like it's growing, keep moving.
Hmm.
Because when you know that's what you're called to do and that's what you're supposed to do,
Come on.
you're going to begin to see fruit begin to come into fruition. For some
Yes.
people, it only may take 3 months to really begin to grow. Some people it's 6. Some people it can take a year. Some people it's 3. And
Hmm.
so, as they said, many businesses fail after what is it, 3 years? One time it was 5. Now it's like 3 years
Yes. Now it's three
because
years.
we're not building the foundation, and then we're
Hmm.
not giving ourselves enough time to literally grow the business and allow other people to come in that really know what they're doing to help us along the way. And so for
Oh, that's
me,
key.
in growing, I just, that's why you need those streams. You gotta
Hmm.
have streams because as you're
Hmm.
building, one thing may not be working right now, but you got this coming in. Um,
Yes.
and then you got to know how to, okay, allow yourself to move higher. But
Yes.
honestly, you really got to know this is the direction that you're supposed to go in. And surround yourself with people that really, really will tell you that don't that don't sound right. We need to
Well,
fix this.
okay. So, you've kind of given us a formula that I can really like take my thoughts,
Yeah,
put them on paper and examine them. Now
yeah,
I can examine myself like, okay, what do I have, Lord? He will start telling you, okay, you got this, this, and this, but I
right.
want you to focus on this one. And so as you begin to focus, like I said, you can ask the Lord, Lord, bring the right people that I need to be surrounded by
Yeah,
so that I can glean from them. It's
exactly.
not alone to be in a group of people when no one is going anywhere. Look at your 5 friends. That 5 is going to tell you, if this one is not doing anything, you're not winning, you're not moving, you're not growing, what you think you gonna do?
What you think you could do? And let me say this, if you don't mind. From the customer culture, like I said, before this pandemic, I was
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. Had to go teach at Walgreens, training here, training there, training at the universities, training everywhere. Well, when it shut down, I even had to switch that up to where I then had to say, okay, because I'm not
Yeah.
going out. So now we got to go virtual. But I even
Mm-hmm.
had to change because of going from focusing in on your consumer, your client, your customer. I then had to switch it a little bit to dealing more with the human connection and developing
Yeah.
human connection skills because of where we are. I had to learn to pivot, but that took me being still enough to say, and looking at what's happening, look at the market and say, okay, this is shifting. I have to shift.
And
Otherwise,
it
there
is
won't be a business. Yeah.
this market, the market that we are in, we live in the United States of America. It has shifted so much to they've taken coins out of circulation.
Ain't no
You
more.
go to a store and they're saying, due to the coin shortage. I'm like, when was there a shortage? When did we run out of coins?
Right.
No, 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 no. So
It's happening.
that's where our mindset has to be.
Yeah.
It's like if it is God's resource, gold, silver, air, water, those are natural resources.
And
Oil, gas,
that's it. You preach it.
there's no running out. And that's why I said Genesis 2:10 through 15 is the scripture that I was referencing with the 4 rivers, those 4 streams. That's 4 streams of income because it is vast,
Yeah.
it is abundant,
Yeah.
it is increase. He talked about gold, he
Mhm.
talked about even just the water.
Yeah.
because there were at that time there was no rain on the earth. It was just mist.
That's
And
it.
then you had these streams of water. Now,
Exactly.
let me back up a bit because I want to drop a little bomb, just a
Yeah.
little one. So, when we speak of the Garden of Eden, and that garden still exists, we
Mm-hmm.
just can't see it. He has it hidden with the cherubim. He
Mm.
want to make sure that nobody is getting to it.
Mm-mm.
But where it was centrally located
Mm.
was in Africa,
In
the
Africa.
continent of Africa. Huh?
There it is. There it is.
So that
The,
just lets me
the
know,
beginning.
well, the first man was made from the ground. He made man out of
Mm-hmm.
dirt, right?
From the
He
ground.
was not a baby. So my pastor gave us a little nugget. He said he believes Adam may have been about 33.
Mm,
Ah,
First
yeah.
Adam. First
So
Adam.
it really lets us know we had the first Adam and then we have the last Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
Jesus, he died at 33, but
Mm-hmm.
he rose again and he's seated on the right hand of the Father, making intercession for you and I. And so there is no lack in God. We got to get into God's financial plan because God has a plan for you and I.
That's
All
right.
through the Bible, he talks about income, he talks about
Increase.
money, he talks about increase, he talks about
Abundance.
talent, he talks about interest rates. Okay. So one of the things that I really found interesting, even with the forex exchange, is foreign exchange. You can
Mm-hmm.
go to the bank today and they have like a little market of what the currency is. So
That's
you
right.
can see the pairs. Is the euro pair stronger than the US
That's
dollar today? If so, you can ride the market up.
right.
But if it's down, you can ride the market down. You can make money when it's up, when it's down. But the market also goes sideways, which is called
Mm-hmm.
consolidation. We don't trade when it's in consolidation.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, this is an additional stream of income for me. I
That's
have I
right.
have diversified my income. So
Right.
I have investments, I have the forex, I have my businesses, and
Right.
so I just want to flourish. I want to thrive. I want to survive and thrive. It's
Right.
not just enough to survive. We need to thrive.
That's
And we need
right.
to show people this is the way.
Right. And just like it says in it, I mean, money makes you happy. And when you have it, you're not so stressed out. You're not trying to figure out, everything is focused in on, because what I find out a lot of times people take little minuscule jobs or things just to make it. And that way it keeps you away a lot of times from even focusing in on your purpose and your call that you have to do. And so even
Exactly.
for people that are out there just trying to figure it out, because people are struggling, and it's real. It is so real. And so and I truly believe, as you said, we are talented and we have
Mm-hmm.
gifts, and we're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to use those talents and those gifts to prosper. It's just a matter of, what am I supposed to do? Who can I
What am I
connect with to
supposed
help
to
me
do?
pull it out? And
Yes.
then you begin to grow. Take your
Yes,
time
yes,
in the
yes.
growth. Take your time in the growth process. That's what I say.
But don't rush
Make it
it because
grow.
when you take your time, you can evaluate and
Yeah.
then you can make the necessary changes. Like, okay, this is not working the way I
That's
want it to work, but maybe
right.
if I do it this way and then test it. Test it in the
Mhm.
marketplace, but do it so that you are confident in your skill set.
That's
And if
right.
you need to increase the knowledge, you go take a class.
That's
There's all
it.
kind of classes. I can't tell you how many books I was able to listen to. I
Yeah.
downloaded them on Audible.
Mhm.
Guess what? That's 5 books down. I was
Already.
able to work on my weight to get fit. I
Yeah.
hired a trainer and I got to walking. So
See?
there's things that we can do even today. Today is December the 16th.
That's
It's
right.
not over. It's not over. So I just want to end us on a high note because it is the holiday season and there are some things that are my favorite things. I wanted to share a few things with our listeners and viewers. If you are you tuning in and you need a gift ideal, maybe these will be a solution for you. So first, I have this. You know what, Latanya? I'm going to let you go first.
Should I
Why
go
don't you
first?
share?
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
We have
you're the guest.
I like I had you cracking up. You know what? An amazing gift for me is cash. Give me the money, honey. As they say, I'll take it
Get your
cash.
money.
Cash at me.
Woo! Yes,
It's a gift.
love it.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Keeps on giving.
It's a
That
gift
now
that
that's
keeps
the
on
truth.
giving. Another thing that I love is a girlfriend of mine, Daisy Kimbrough. It's aromatology. This is an amazing product. I don't know if I'm going too far
I
back,
can't
but it
see
is
it,
an
but
amazing product. A body butter.
ooh,
She's now in the Atlanta area. She's aromatology, and I mean, her stuff is amazing. It's just amazing what she does. You know what? And then one thing that I love, Rachelle, as well is I am a Dove product girl.
mm-hmm.
Um, I love Dove. I mean, I can take soap. I will pack up on Dove soap. I love Dove soap. I love Dove products, the deodorant, all of those things. And one of my favorite colognes, I love it, is Perry Ellis 360 degrees. See, I'm already almost
Yes.
out of it now.
Okay.
360 degrees that I love. And I love there was one time, as you guys see, I have on red lipstick. I love
Uh-huh.
lipsticks. And one of my favorite that I love is where did I get this from? I think I got this from Ultra. And
Okay.
it's by Maybelline. And so now I've really gone into the reds a little bit, just depends on
Okay.
what you got on. And so those are some of the things that I love. Not, you know, not major, but they bring me joy.
And see, that's what it's about, keeping it simplistic.
Yes. Yes.
Simplistic. So I want to share a few of my little favorite things that I happen to love. And I
Mhm.
wanted to start with this little sippy cup. It's a bling sippy cup, and it was designed by Patsy Ann Nemers, and she's on Facebook, only Patsy Ann. And I believe this comes in 4 colors, but the top is all blinged out. And I usually just have my juices and water or whatever, because we have our lips and our lip gloss. We don't want our lips to be, messed up. We want to keep our lips popping. All right. And so I also like a shea butter by Kimberly Armstrong, Freddie Jones. Freddie Jones has a luxury line, and this is called Champagne and Peonies. And it smells so divine, and it just keeps my skin
Yeah.
super duper soft. And for my hair, I'm a natural girl. I like to go natural. I have a product by Mark Anthony called Strictly Curls. Don't know if you can see that. Strictly Curls. You can find this at Target.
Mhm.
Yes, keeps my hair super soft and I love it. I cannot do without a candle. So I love, love, love my candle. I think I got this. I got it a while back. Let me see. I don't see the label. I'm trying to
Let's
without
see. There it
dropping
is.
it. You see it?
Okay, turn back here. There it
Okay.
is. Okay.
All right. But it smells so divine. I think it's like a lemon. Oh, it smells
Mm.
like a lemon sherbet, and it
Okay.
smells so good, and it burns for hours. And
Wow.
then my favorite fragrance is Victor Roth, and
Mm.
that's Flower Bomb. So those are my 5 favorites. I just, I want to end on a high note.
Yeah.
Latanya, I thank you for coming on Inspired by Love. I hope to see you again in
You
2021.
know it. We will.
2021 and where we can definitely break down, how we're going to bridge to 2021, how we've gone from basics to growing our
Yes.
business.
Yes.
And so without further ado, I'm going to leave you with this. Be inspired by love. Bye now.